I'm going to pick your brains.
Okay.
Welcome back.
Thank you very much indeed. Just for your encouragement, a person said to me, "You haven't changed a bit." When the last person said that to me, I said, "I hope it didn't always look like this." Just an introduction.
Now, first of all, thanks for coming today. You were speaking at a meeting this afternoon in Ballymena. You rushed here, and we really appreciate you doing that.
Indeed.
First thing, how are you keeping? Because we know you haven't been well. In fact, you've been seriously unwell over the past year. You look so great tonight. How are you keeping?
Tremendous. Yeah. Two things, without going into any details. Keyhole surgery, which meant the healing time was much shorter. And secondly, didn't need any treatment. Operation in September, was back preaching again in November. So I think that answers your question.
Brilliant. Brilliant. Well, I mentioned earlier on at the beginning Mr. Samuel Ellis.
Yeah.
And his two daughters are here tonight. And I had a lovely meeting with them recently over a cup of tea. And we were able to go back and think about the past. And I understand he came to Antrim in 1960.
Yeah.
And he loved the Lord. He was Baptistic, but there's no Baptist church in the town, so he attended Ballyclare.
Okay.
And he had a vision, along with some others, to see a work planted here. There were a number of men from Ballyclare Baptist who helped. There was Mr. Jim Miller, who is Eleanor's late father-in-law, and Mr. Matt Flack, and also three men from Ballymena Baptist, Ernie Arnold,
Yeah.
whose son married Dan and me, Sammy Moore and John Walker. And they, back in the 60s, started a Bible class in the Protestant hall in the town. When did you arrive in Antrim? Can you remember the date? Can you remember the first time?
I can indeed, very well. February 1969. Okay. Those days we met in the Legion Hall down below.
So it had moved from the Protestant hall, which I think was too small at one point,
Yeah.
and down to the Legion hall.
Correct.
Okay. Tell me your first impressions when you arrived. Can you remember back that far?
I can indeed, because the snow was on the ground. And as you indicated, there were only about 20 people coming on a Sunday night. Most of whom had come from Ballymena or Ballyclare, no morning service. And my first task was to go around doors and invite children to Sunday school. Started Sunday school on the first Sunday in March 1969, and there were 3 pupils came along. We had more teachers than pupils, but by the end of June, the Sunday school had increased to 50. Yeah. And we wanted me to enlarge upon it.
By all means, please.
Okay. And obviously, God started to work, and God started to move. I wasn't married at this particular time, and I remember being at home, and I read this text because the first few months were very difficult because the snow was on the ground, and I was living in an old basic caravan that was cold and miserable. Having said all that, there were some people here who were very good to me. I don't want to mention names, lest I leave someone out. But I was out for hospitality a good deal. But anyhow,
Where was the caravan?
the caravan was just parked beside the Legion.
Okay.
I see that God began to work, and by the following year, 1970, I baptized 10 people, May 1970, and then we formed the church at the latter part of May 1970, so the church is actually more than 40.
Yeah.
It was 43.
Yeah.
You probably know that.
Yeah. And were there any special outreach then, missions, that kind of thing? Was it mostly door-to-door work or just contacts?
We did have a few missions now. In my time here, Dr. Brett, principal of this college, he was not a fellow at the time. We had a mission with him. Door-to-door, of course. But I was the evangelist, and I was the one who did it, I suppose.
Okay. And when was this building built then? Can you remember back?
Can indeed, from the date and year.
Absolutely.
17th of June, 1973, it was opened on the 17th of June of that year. If you want to know the preachers, It was Pastor Jim McManus who had mission in about 1966 with Raymond Arnold, that you know, I know very well. So
I rang Raymond last week. I haven't spoken to him for about 10 years. As I say, he married Dan and me way back a long time ago. And he said that he remembers that mission very well in '66. It was James McManus. He was just a young fella at college at the time, and he was so privileged to preach with James. And he remembers that James took him down very early in the morning, each morning for those few weeks, and got Raymond down on his knees and James down on his knees in the tent, and praying for souls and just for the work of the mission. And he said that people did come to faith. Just great memories looking back. So you had more missions throughout those years?
Yes, yeah.
Well, on a given Sunday when you moved in here in the early 70s, 73, you were saying, I mean, what was it like? Was this here? Was this all the same?
It's all the same,
All the same, yeah.
I mean, we sentimental journey into the vestry, it's just the same.
And how many... sorry for the mess.
Sorry, I couldn't help that.
Can you remember back, Walter, how many people roughly would have been on a given Sunday back in the early 70s?
Now, when the church opened, obviously a lot of people came just to see it, as people generally do. And some Sunday nights, actually we had 80 and 90 here. Right. But when I moved on in 1975, there were about some members.
Okay.
Maybe about on an average of 60 coming, I would think.
As Mrs. Bell was telling me that with so many Baptists coming to town, working in Incolong, etc., often they would maybe go home at weekends, and it was frustrating that it kind of fluctuated a wee bit.
Yeah, well, you see, obviously in Incolong, 4 shifts, and that obviously interrupted the services a bit. People just couldn't get out every Sunday. But some people came from Belfast and they got £450 to come. But when they came down here, they didn't like Antrim so much, so they moved back up again. So it's fluctuating, you know.
Well, are there any standout memories that you have of those, 5-6 years?
Yeah.
Any standout memories or standout people that just spring to your mind now?
Standout memories, well, first of all, getting that text from the Lord. Obviously it was a great help to me. I have much people in this city, and that was a great source of encouragement to me. And I always look back and say, under God, the church here was meant to be in my time. So that's it.
And any people that spring to mind at all who were an encouragement to you?
I would have to say, without naming any names, quite a lot of people were an encouragement to me. Not everyone, maybe.
Well, I was just going to ask this because the Lord's work is great. The Lord's work's hard, and it mustn't have all been sweetness and light. Do you want to shed any light on that?
Well, you're a friend of Ray Arnold, so am I, and he went to Scotland, and he was in contact with me. He says, he summed it up so well. He says, I get enough encouragement to keep me going on, and enough discouragement to keep me on my knees. He summed it up. But Lloyd Jones said, it's the greatest work under heaven. Absolutely. That's not right. You would agree with that.
Absolutely. So, 1975, was that when you moved on?
I moved on.
Can you tell us what happened next in your life then?
Well,
because a number of folk wouldn't be aware.
I got called to Hollywood.
Okay. And was it a church planted as well?
It was already in existence. The church was, already in existence. Okay. But we met in the exclusive Brennan Hall, and then we bought a site on the Belfast Road. And it was 90,000 to purchase. And I thought to myself, we'll never be able to build a new church here, but just obviously recently, we built a new church of over £1 million. So I was obviously involved in the buying of the site, so I can look back there and say that was another milestone in my life.
How many years were you in Hollywood?
It was almost 20.
Okay.
So I enjoyed it, I must say.
Good. And since the Hollywood days, what have you been doing? Itinerant ministry? Yeah.
Basically, yes, and helping churches from here, getting there and younger, yeah.
Well, we're sorry Connie can't be with us tonight.
Yeah, well, obviously, I was in Ballymena after this, it was a long day, and one of our sons, he comes on Sunday, no, he's off, couldn't be. But all been well.
Great. Well, you were a single man here. How did you meet Connie, and was that through this, through the church?
No, not through the church. She was a nursing sister in Denmore Avenue Hospital. And Carson Boggs, his dad, was a Baptist pastor. He was at the college, although he wasn't studying in ministry. He was at the Queen's, and he went with this girl called Anne. It was through her that I met Connie, because Anne worked in the same hospital. So that's it. Are you going to sovereignty of God brought us together?
And did you marry Connie when you were here or in Hollywood?
I hear when I was here.
Okay. And what family do you have, Walter? Where are they?
I have 2 boys and 4 grandchildren. One is Philip, he's the elder one of the 2. He lives in Portdown, he goes to Thomas Street. He's quite involved. And he has 4 boys, he's keeping a good name up. Yeah, they keep a good name, keep that up.
Entwistle?
Entwistle.
Absolutely.
And the other one, not married, he lives in Carrick. Philip is involved in Thomas Street. Right, very much. Stephen is living in Carrick. So he's a member down there. Good.
Walter, thank you for your work here all those years ago. Thank you for, as Winston Jordan used to say, thank you for digging ditches for the Lord and filling them in and putting the foundations in.
Yeah.
Because we're building on the work that you and your generation of believers here back then did, and we owe you a debt of gratitude.
Yeah.
And we want to say thank you.
I should have said one other thing which was a great encouragement to me, obviously. When I was here, a young fellow called Billy Reid, in 1971, he said to me, I feel called to go to the Lord's service. And he went across the water and he trained, because he was a Baptist pastor. He finished off, actually, he retired last March, and I had the great privilege of speaking at retirement. It was a source of encouragement.
Yeah, Billy was here just a couple of months ago one Sunday morning just to see the church before we finished.
And likewise, if I could say, I went to Hollywood. Edward Betts went to the Baptist College from there. He started passed on at 49. And then Stephen Cave, he was Billy Malcolm. He went out from Hollywood into the world work into the Baptist College. It's
It's a great thread.
Yeah, it is indeed.
Walter, thank you so much.
Not at all.
Thank you.
Not at all.
Lord bless you.
What didn't do take too much.
Not at all. No, thank you. Thank you.